UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan versus Hooker is a wrap. And wow, this fight night was arguably one of the best, definitely the best this year. There were some great knockouts, there were some submissions, and there was a return, a couple of surprises. I'm going to break it all down for you. So buckle up and let's get going. Okay, guys, starting out with the first fight of the night, it was Freeman versus Bujlo, two heavyweights. And I gotta tell you, on a night where there were 5 knockouts, 4 subs, this fight was a snooze fest. I had whispers of reminiscing of the fight with Chris Barnett and Hamdi. And this is just one of those fights where you gotta say, look, I know they're trying to pump up the heavyweight division, but this fight looked like it was a walkthrough. It looked like it was a rehearsal. One of the commentators was saying that they looked like they were shadowboxing. No one was closing the distance. They didn't even connect until the 3rd round. Too bad to say this, but I got to give it 2 thumbs down. Freeman walked away with the win, kind of undeservingly because he didn't do anything, but Bujlo definitely deserved to lose. Got the snooze fest over. Let's go to the next fight. Most cards have 13 fights on them. This card had 14. We're just going to pretend like that first fight didn't happen and that the fight really started with this fight. It was a battle of 2 lightweights, Aliev versus Scouser Shamrock. Shamrock fights out of the same gym as Paddy Pimblett. Paddy was cornering for Shamrock. Shamrock is known to be a striker. Aliev coming in as the favored fighter. A grappler will use striking opportunistically, and boy, did Aliev prove that he belongs in the UFC tonight. He is a crisp, sharp striker that has some pop in his punches. He wore out his opponent. I think he surprised him. He didn't expect him to be that aggressive. I think most of us expected for this fight to take place on the ground. Kind of thought it might be top control, smotherfest, but it wasn't. It was very exciting on the feet. Narulo used a lot of feints, really impressed with his striking and his ability to keep it on the feet and win on the feet. And even though he won by decision, it was a very exciting fight. Look forward to seeing more from Aliev. Next up, we had a middleweight bout between Ismail Naurdiev and Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder is an American. He was a tough champion. I can't remember what season that was, but very good wrestler coming up against Naurdiev. I expected there to be a little bit of wrestling, but I expected the fight to be on the feet. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you were rooting for, it ended quickly in the first round. Naurdiev came in with a vicious overhand right, slept him cold. It was one of those knockouts that literally takes your breath away. You've seen the meme with DC and Joe and John Anik out of their chairs, although none of them were here tonight. But it was that kind of knockout. Definitely worth rewatching the fight. Looking forward to more of Ismail Naurdiev. He gets the win tonight. Next up, guys, I've got to be honest with you. This was the fight that I was looking forward to the most. This was a bantamweight fight between Beksat Almakhan and Alexandre Topuria. I think this fight could actually headline a fight card. It was incredible, and the odds were changing up until the minute. It was a total coin toss to me. One minute, I would think that Topuria was going to win. The next minute, I would look at fight tape and watch Beksat up against Nurmagomedov and just thought he was incredible. And it really was a remarkable fight. Alexandre Topuria is such a predator. He just owns the octagon. He presses forward with economical, efficient patience. And you know he is just stalking his opponent and he is looking for the right time to come in. That first round, Beksat came in with his speed, his fast hands, his quickness. Out of the gate, for a minute, I thought that Beksat had the edge, and I think he threw Topuria off a little bit. But once round 1 kind of started playing out, Topuria started coming in with more confidence and building more confidence. And then he would get Beksat in the black area closer to the cage. And once Alexandre knew that he owned the octagon and he was able to walk him down, then he came in with a lot of strength. He had a beautiful throw. I can't remember what kind of throw it was, but took him to the ground. I think that was a pretty close round. I gave that to Alexandre, but round 2, you see Topuria really get his confidence, and this, guys, is where he shines. You start to get a feel for the power that Topuria has, because coming into this fight, when he had that win against Colby Thickness, I was like, yeah, he looks really good. He had that beautiful suplex throw. I'm like, no, he's good. He's good on the feet. He's good on the ground. But how much power does he have? And I think tonight, guys, I think he has just about the same power that his brother does. I don't know. How do you even measure? Anyway, no matter what, he's got power. It shined in round 2. He started to piece him up, touched up. You could see on Beksot's face, it was red, getting lots of cuts. By round 3, it was all Topuria. He took him down. He was beating him up. He walks away with the decision win. It was an easy decision. Boy, both of these competitors are tough fighters. It really stinks for Beksot because he is a good fighter. And it really stinks that he got Nurmagomedov in his debut and then he got Topuria in his third fight. I look forward to seeing more from Beksot because he's quick. He's got power before he starts tiring out, but he's still good, and I am really looking forward to Topuria. Tonight, he proved to me that he is a predator, and he's got heavy hands. They were also super big. If you looked at his hands, you'd like, wow. Yeah, Topuria is wow for me, and I can't wait to see him fight some more. Coming in next up at light heavyweight, Abdulrahman Yakhyaev and Rafael Cerqueira. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that Yakhyaev was one of my top prospects, and I've been so looking forward to watching this guy fight. He fights like a bull in a china shop. That's the best way to describe Yakhyaev. Basically, in his Dana White Contender Series fight, he just rolled through his opponents, and tonight he did the same thing in 33 or 36 seconds. He just rolled through Rafael, knocked him down, ground and pound, and then gets the rear naked choke, like both. Like we get to see incredible aggression on the feet, taking someone down, using ground and pound, and then coming in with the rear naked choke, all in 36 seconds. I think that was probably the most exciting 36 seconds since, I don't know, probably last weekend, because I know there were some quick knockouts then, but this was super impressive. Sad news for Rafael Cerqueira because this is his third loss, and yeah, things have not been looking good for the Brazilian. Seems like a nice guy, but I'm excited about this young prospect. He's only 24 years old. He's got a huge future. This is in the light heavyweight division, and we need some more killers in this division. So congrats to Yakhyaev. Can't wait to see you fight again. Next up, we had the flyweights who are ranked 7 and 8. Asu Almabayev, ranked number 8, and Alex Perez, ranked number 7. Alex Perez has come off an injury. I don't know if you remember that fight. Tatsu Taira got on his back. He was basically backpacking him, and he tweaked. I think he blew out his knee. He's just coming back from that injury, coming up against Asu Almabayev, 31-year-old. He's coming off a win back in, I think it was July or August, an impressive win. Grappler, basically classic grappler versus striker. Going into round 1, we see Alex Perez really doing his thing, piecing up Asu a little bit. Had me a little concerned. I was like, wow, he's going to be dominant in this whole fight. But nope. Round 2, Asu comes out, he gets around. I had him tied 1-1 going into the third round. And then Asu lands a kick, wobbles Alex, jumps on him, lands a front guillotine from the front, leans backward, chokes him out. Wow, that was a stunning finish because you weren't expecting that at all. Super fun fight. Asu Almabayev walks out with the win, and yeah, he's making a name for himself, moving up the rankings. Probably he's gonna land at number 7 or number 6 now, probably number 7. Next up was a welterweight fight. This was a much anticipated debut of Sagid Izagakhmaev versus Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby is a veteran. I think he's 41 years old. Tough fighter. He's battle tested. His striking isn't great. He just kind of gets the job done. He's got good wrestling defense. Sagid, on the other hand, comes from Team Habib. So there's lots of anticipation and expectation coming around him. He kind of looks like a tall, lankier Habib. But this fight was very interesting because Dalby came in, got him clinched up against the fence, and just outmassed Sagid. Like, he just kind of hung on him and outweighed him. There wasn't any technicality in this fight from Dalby. It was really him just being a tough man and him just putting all his weight on Sagid. Sagid really couldn't get it out of first gear at any time in the fight. Unfortunate, it goes the distance. Dalby ends up with the split decision, giving Team Habib their first loss of the night. Next up were 2 featherweights, Bogdan Gran versus Luke Riley. Luke Riley, another Scouser fighting out of the same gym as Paddy Pimblett. Bogdan, a fighter from Austria. In the first round, Bogdan had Riley up against the cage. Riley did a good job standing up each time. He'd just get taken down, was able to get back to his feet. I think it just dazed and confused him a little bit. Goes back to his corner after round 1 and was made aware that he was down a round. Comes out in round 2 and he lands a vicious left hook, knocks Bogdan down, and then Riley comes in with some lethal, deadly ground and pound, puts him out. It was another one of those that made you go like that. It was really good. Riley gets away with the win. Next up was a flyweight fight between much anticipated Tagir Ulanbekov, who also fights for Team Habib, coming up against Kyoji Horiguchi. Kyoji Horiguchi making his much anticipated return to the UFC octagon after fighting for Rizin for the last 9 years. Very exciting to see Horiguchi make his comeback to the octagon. Glad he's been doing so well in Rizin. He's 35 years old now, and I was very curious to see how he was going to do tonight. Boy, did he shine. Did he prove that he did no damage in his time away? He deserves to be back in the UFC, and he surprised us. Round 3, he came out, well, first of all, Ulanbekov, Team Habib, much hyped, expected to do really well tonight, at least 5 inches taller than Horiguchi. Horiguchi was able to close the distance consistently. He'd come in, he'd pepper him with combos, then jump back outside. It was impressive to see Horiguchi so nimble, so aggressive, so effective with his striking. Completely stunned Ulanbekov, knocked him down in the 3rd round, and then took him down in the 3rd round, crumpled him, knocked him against the cage, and then came in with the rear naked choke. Very exciting fight. Kyoji Horiguchi, welcome back to the UFC. We look forward to seeing more of you, and it better happen fast at 35 years old, or you can thrill us for the next 3 years and keep on winning. We're going to cheer you on. Great job. Next up, we have a battle of the heavyweights. Shamil Gaziev versus the last-minute replacement, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, coming off that win about 3 weeks ago. Remember, he had that eye poke, and then after the eye poke, he got right back in the fight and knocked out his opponent. I can't remember who it was, but very exciting win right after the Tom Aspinall double eye pokes. Anyway, so he shows up for this fight tonight, takes it last minute, flies into Qatar, goes straight to weigh-ins, and then the fight basically happens. I picked Shamil. He does have a one-hitter quitter. He's known, I think he has like a 60% knockout finish rate. Good fighter. But Waldo comes in and destroys him in the 1st round. I think it was like a minute 20 in the 1st round. Knocked him out, put some ground and pound on him. Excellent fight. Way to go. Last minute, Waldo. We're happy to see you win again. Called out Curtis Blades. Yay! Double win in 1 month. Next up, we have 2 welterweights. Jack Hermansson, he moved down from middleweight to fight in welterweight. And we have Miktabek Orolbai, who moved up from lightweight to fight in this. Miktabek had missed weight, I think, a couple of times, so he went ahead and moved up. Hermansson moved down, which is interesting because Jack's 37 years old, and he just got slept in his last fight by RoboCop. Miktabek is an interesting fighter. I would encourage you to go back and look at his fight against Rebeski. Arguably, of that year, I think that was 2024, probably should have been top 5 fight of the year. Fights with a lot of heart. He's aggressive. He is a never quitter, Orolbai. I was looking forward to this fight because I really wanted to see Orolbai shine, and he certainly did. Unfortunately, he took Jack out in the 1st round, basically slept Jack. Was a little reminiscent of the fight against RoboCop. I think it's time for us to say goodbye to Jack Hermansson. I think he needs to retire. I just worry about him at his age. I think he's lost his chin. Very exciting for Orolbai. He's a brawler. Next up was a battle between 2 light heavyweights, Volkan Oezdemir and Alonzo Menifield. This was a quick finish, one of the big knockouts in round 1. Oezdemir landed a knee up the middle, wobbled him, landed him against the cage, and then started throwing haymakers, came in, right, left, knocked him silly. Like, you could see he was out of it. That fight could have probably been stopped 4 punches earlier. I wish Mark would have stepped in a little bit earlier. Mark calls the fight. Oezdemir gets the win. And And now for the co-main event, we have the former champion Belal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Garry. This is a welterweight fight. A lot of smack talk between the two of them pre-fight. Machado Garry was the favorite going in. I had hoped that this would be Belal's redemption fight. I was just rooting for the underdog here, especially because it was in Qatar and I want to see the home fighters continue to win. Really, I was okay either way that it went. But Machado Garry easily won all 3 rounds. What was interesting to me about this fight is that Belal didn't succeed at any takedowns. And I think that's less about Belal and much more about Ian Machado Garry's takedown defense and his length. He just looked huge compared to Belal. I think he's the tallest fighter in the division. It doesn't surprise me, but I think that was really a disadvantage for Belal. And also I noticed that Garry was fighting with his hips back. He was anticipating the takedowns. Ian Garry looked good. One thing that was interesting to me though is Belal did strike a lot, and I think Belal is underrated with his striking. I don't think it's anything great, but I don't think that he gets the props that he should. He got bloodied up early on. I do wonder about Ian Garry's chin. We know what Prates did with him once Prates started getting his groove. For me, the whole time I was watching this fight, I just kept thinking to myself, I really want to see Machado Garry and Michael Morales. That is a fight in my head that I just cannot wait for it to happen. Machado Garry ends up with the win. I like him. He's a great smack talker. He's good on the mic. I think he's kind of fun for the division. Not in love with him, but I like him. Good job on the win tonight. Now for the main event, Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Arman was a huge favorite coming in, and guys, you're just gonna have to bear with me. I need to glaze Arman and his wrestling. He is a wrestling phenom, and I'm sorry, but anyone that says Arman Tsarukyan is a boring fighter, I think they just have ADHD at this point. There is nothing boring about the way that Arman Tsarukyan fights. He closed the distance with a very, very much taller Dan Hooker, and he was aggressive with his striking. He threw him off. He has some pop in his punch, and his takedowns were beautiful. Dan didn't stand a chance, but Dan on the ground did get Arman in a couple of scrambles, but I'm telling you, Arman's scrambles are a masterpiece. They're absolutely beautiful. We get to see his flexibility. Actually, I think Arman's defensive wrestling is one of the funnest to watch. It's poetry in motion, in my opinion. I'm so glad for his win tonight because he fought with a ton of heart, and it was good to see him finally get back in the octagon. No injuries this time. He is the deserving winner of that fight, and I think in my opinion, he is the deserving next contender for the title fight. I don't think he's going to get it, but major big props to Arman Tsarukyan for his incredible second round finish. Triangle choke. Yeah, he is a beautiful fighter and he's an exciting wrestler. His ground and pound is just so smashing and it's bloody and it's so good. Yay! It was a great card. I hope you guys loved it as much as I did. Give me your comments below. Which fight night this year was your favorite? This was mine, definitely. I mean, for me, this fight night was up there with some of the pay-per-views. Probably, I'm thinking, this is a probably top 5, top 7 card for me. What about you? Give me your comments below. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Let's talk. See you soon.